Hi everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a lovely evening. On a previous video, we spoke to you about mindset and how you can completely change how you experience things simply by making a small shift in the way you think about things and the way you redefine yourself. So we're continuing with that mindset theme for tonight, but in relation to when it comes to eating well.
And when you think about eating well, you think about diet. And unfortunately, the word diet has a lot of negative connotations attached to it. And it's understandable because most people have tried so many different ones, only to find themselves back to where they started with the same patterns of behavior. You might, achieve a bit of success, but for some reason, most people don't understand why they can't maintain it. And so what we want to do tonight in this video was to kind of illustrate the difference between two main factors when you're talking about eating well, and a couple of different approaches that most people have. One of them is diet, obviously. The other one is nutrition. And we'll get a little bit further into it as we go on, but I think most of us have had some experience with a whole range of different diets, some crazy ones, some, ones that we knew that weren't going to be good before we even started them, but we did it anyway. And so, we just wanted to touch on a couple of those things just to clear things up for most people who don't really understand the difference between a diet and nutrition.
Yeah, so you mentioned there that most people have tried a number of diets, guilty as charged. I think I put myself on my first diet when I was 13. How sad is that?
Wow.
And I think from the age of 13 until now, very long time, I have, for the most part, bounced from diet to diet. And part of that has to do, I think the first one, it was simply that try not to eat any junk food and don't eat very much at all.
The old starvation diet.
Yeah, well, that actually led me to having an eating disorder. And I think, I lost a lot of weight. I got down to 43 kilos, I think.
Wow.
I was, and I was not healthy at all. My hormones were all out of whack. My body wasn't functioning. I managed to get out of that only to bounce into another unhealthy eating or diet in the and competing. So again, in preparation for competing, going down to 700 calories just to drop weight.
That was in the figure competition.
Yeah, figure competitions. And again, not healthy at all.
No.
And of course, as soon as you start to reintroduce foods that you haven't been eating or go off your 700 or 1200 calorie diet and increase them, then of course you are going to put on some of that weight. You can't sustain it. And you're touching on that before, that whole idea of we have the best of intentions and we try to stick to it, and we stick to it as long as we can, but our body is screaming out for nutrients. Not calories, it's screaming out for nutrients. And so it's sort of behind, it releases hormones and it's behind our desire to eat. So what we find, without going into that too much now, what we find is that we can't sustain it. And that even went down to, I think I went to, how long did I go for the juice diet? Was it like 6 weeks or something?
At least.
I drank juice every meal for 6 weeks. I dropped weight.
No solids, just
no
juice.
solid foods, just juice from predominantly vegetable juices, so not fruit juices. But as you can imagine, I dropped a lot of weight very quickly. But then winter hit, and I kind of wanted some warm food. I wanted something that I could heat up. You can't heat up juice.
Yeah.
So I had to start. So I had to start to introduce some meals, and I kept some of those juices in right up until just a couple of years ago. But I started eating at least one solid meal a day. But again, I wasn't eating enough. And Stephen will touch on this a little bit later on. So what I was doing was slowing my body down, and it wasn't functioning. And it's taken a long time to start to get it sort of functioning at an optimal level again. So most people end up puzzled, don't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, because the experts are telling you that this is how you get fit, healthy, and happy, by essentially starving yourself, starving your body of all the nutrients and the things that it needs to operate at optimal levels. And so when you're talking strictly diet, it can have some negative effects on people's idea on how to approach health just in general, because they themselves have experienced so many times that they've gone down this road of dieting because, whoever it is that told them to do it, and realized, as Michelle said, very, soon after that, it just wasn't doing what they wanted to do. And in fact, they felt worse physically, mentally, emotionally, because believe it or not, what you eat doesn't just affect you physically, it affects you mentally and emotionally. So, to kind of break it down a little bit, you got on one side you have diet, and that has things like calorie counting, portion control, weighing and measuring food, eating lots of small meals throughout the day, and of course, bland, boring, repetitive food, and it's no wonder that people kind of stop after maybe even 2 or 3 weeks. Some people might go on for, 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks. But eventually it gets boring, it gets tired, it drains you of your energy. So what people do is they jump back onto what they were doing before, because this obviously isn't working and there's really no other option. So I'll just go back to doing what I was doing before. That's one aspect. The other aspect is nutrition, and that's a whole different ballgame. What you're focused then is on feeding your body, giving your body what it actually needs, and what's involved with that is lots of different types of food, and quite a bit of food as well, because you're not really focused so much on the calories, you're focused more on the nutrients. And by eliminating some of the toxins as well, some of the bad foods, and introducing some of the good foods, your body reacts in a totally different way. You're not hungry, you're not low of energy. In fact, you got more energy, and you kind of you mentally a lot more. You have a lot more clarity, a lot more energy. You can make decisions a lot better. You're not as irritated because you're not starving yourself.
You're hungry.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah, believe me, I know. And so they're the main differences. But the biggest difference, really, when it comes down to it, is that diet is weight focused. So, and when you're weight focused, it stands to reason that you're basically going to restrict calories because that's how you lose weight. But is that really the healthiest way of doing things? Is it the most natural way of doing things? Is that how the body actually works? Whereas on the other hand, you got a nutrition side of it, which is health focused. And as we've said before, it's about giving your body all the nutrients, the fiber, the good fats, the good sugars, the vitamins, the minerals, the coenzymes, the probiotics. All those things combined will help you and your body deal with a whole range of different either physical illnesses or mental, emotional effects of just normal day-to-day living. So they're the main two differences between the two camps. And from personal experience, I can tell you that going on a having a nutrition-based approach is infinitely better than counting calories and worrying about how much, what fat content, the particular food has. And I don't go hungry. In fact, I eat so much food that I don't really snack between meals because I don't really get that hungry, because I'm having so much fiber and good fats, and obviously carbohydrates as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm a case study if you want.
Some of the benefits of taking that nutrition approach is obviously you're flooding your body with good nutrients, and we find that when we do that, we don't crave the traditional junk foods and chocolates and all of those sorts of things. You find that because you are being satisfied, your body is satisfied, it's got the nutrients it needs, it doesn't really crave any of those things at all. And in terms of the weight, like before I get to the weight, I don't spend my day thinking about food. And that's me not thinking about what I'm going to eat and planning it out. And look, it's not to say I don't plan. I do meal prep. I'm planned, particularly when I'm off to work. I take all of my meals with me and so on. But I'm not obsessing about food, and that's a difference. I'm not thinking about not just what I'm going to eat, but what I wish I could eat. And I'm not thinking about the weekend. There's with the dieting, it's also common for this sort of tendency to go, well, I'll have a cheat meal, or on the weekends I'll eat whatever I want. And then people obsess over it all week thinking about what they're going to eat. And wow, I've got some stories I could tell you about that, not personal, but ones that
with the cake next to
the bodybuilding world. Insane. That's perhaps a live for another day. Some stories from those days.
Crazy.
But what you find too is that the weight then takes care of itself. And it doesn't even become a focus anymore. Like, I wake up, I feel much better, I've got more energy, I've got clarity of thought, I don't have headaches, I'm able to deal with stresses a lot easier.
Yeah.
And what I find is that the weight really is a byproduct. It's a byproduct of your body not getting the food, the nutrients it needs, or perhaps you're eating the wrong things as well. And of course, as we'll get to in an upcoming video, not moving, not training. So we need to have all three of those components that we touched on in our first video. So the mindset, your nutrition, and your training, we need to have all of those working for you so that you're able to achieve the sort of lifestyle and the body that you want.
Absolutely. And with a health-based focus, you can actually have most of the foods that you like, pizzas, pastas, cakes, ice creams, you name it, basically you can have it. The only difference is that the ingredients that you use to make those meals or dishes are specifically for your body to use in order to promote health, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's crucial that if you want a healthy mind, you need to start with the body. And as I said, it's not about restriction at all. You can have all those amazing things. You can do whatever you want. I mean, you can be as creative as you want. It's the opposite of a diet, of a weight-based approach, in that it's completely not restricted. You can play with it however you want, as long as you stay within the boundaries of the actual philosophy behind it, which is nutrients are the key. And I mean, imagine never having to count calories or looking at fat content in something, knowing that you can eat whatever it is that you want, knowing that it's not only not going to be bad for you, but it's actually going to be very beneficial for you, and it will satisfy your taste buds because it tastes amazing. Some of these cakes and things you can make are incredible, and most people don't even know that they don't have all the other crap that's normally in their cakes. It's actually quite good for them.
Well, Sienna's strawberry ice cream, she loves it.
Yeah.
And it's made from good, nutritious ingredients. So it's not about sacrifice. It's not about restriction and never having things that are traditionally viewed as being bad foods. Again, it's about substitution. It's about making those same, getting creative and making those same meals, but just with different ingredients. The other benefit I find too is that I'm not having to cook separate meals for everyone.
Right.
I'm being able to, and this is the thing. There was one point where I was cooking 3 different meals for each member, like one for each member of our family. And no wonder I was obsessing about food, because I had to cook one thing for Stephen and another for my daughter, and then obviously my food as well. And to be quite honest, there were days where I just didn't eat, because by the time I got to planning my own meals or preparing my own meals, I was over it.
Yeah.
I was just, well, they're fed. That's all that matters. And I know that's a common thing with mums, is they go, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll get something later. Well, you don't get something later, or if you do, you'll pick up the wrong something.
Yeah.
That's actually not, well, when you're hungry, you're hungry. So whatever you can find, you're going to grab hold of. So it's a matter of just making sure that you do that preparation. So while I said before that I don't obsess and think about food all day long and plan in week in advance what I'm going to have on the weekend, I do the preparation so that it's there. I don't have foods that aren't going to nourish our body in our house. So it's never an issue at all.
It's never a temptation.
No, and even when we shop, it doesn't ever enter into our heads to go and buy something that we know is going to act as a toxin in our body that's not going to nourish us.
That takes time to develop because the body has to then adjust to a new way of, or more natural way of existing. And you're still going to have those little cravings that show up, especially if you have people around you offering you things. That's perfectly normal. And on occasions you can have something. It's not the end of the world. It's not like a diet where you go, oh my God, I've screwed everything up.
Ruined everything.
Now,
I have to wait till Monday.
Yeah, I'll just trash the whole thing and start all over again on Monday. But yeah, it's the most natural way of living. And as I say, we've found it extremely beneficial, and that's why we want to pass it on to as many people who are interested in hearing about it and using it. Usually what I say to people and the clients that I work with, give yourself 12 weeks on this type of thing, where you allow the body to recalibrate. And it's amazing after 12 weeks how everything changes, how your perspective changes, but how your taste buds change, because most people who eat food, what is considered food conventionally, have no idea what it actually tastes like, because their taste buds are completely destroyed, they're corrupted. But after 12 weeks, your taste buds recalibrate and they come back, and then you can actually start to taste food again. And if you were to have the whatever stuff you were having before, you will instantly think to yourself, why did I even like this? This doesn't even taste good, whereas I can eat something that's amazing for me, but tastes great. And so we're just going to leave you with the framework that we use, and I use for my clients and we use for the program. And it's really simple. It's about frequency of meals, it's about portion size, and it's about ratio. So frequency of meals with a diet approach, you're told to eat every 1.5 to 2 hours. So you're having 6 to 8 meals a day, small portions. In reality, that's not how the body works best, because it's not just about metabolism, it's about hormones. And each time you eat something, hormones are released, and it doesn't actually give the body time to rest between meals because you're eating so frequently. Whereas what we do, our framework, our model is that you eat 3 times a day, but you eat a lot of food. And that's when we go back into portion size. Portion size is normally on a diet, any diet, they always stress that you have to have small portions. And that's why people get hungry, because they don't feel satisfied after having a supposed meal. And so, half an hour later, 40 minutes later, they're looking for something to eat. And if there's nothing there, they'll start eating the furniture or something. And so portion size, huge portion size. So you need to have as much as you can so that you don't feel that can get you through to the next meal, and you don't feel that hungry again, right up until you're about to eat again for your next meal. So,
but the right sorts of foods. So
exactly.
It's not about filling up a massive bowl of pasta and eating a massive bowl of pasta or bread and things like that. So it's when we talk about portion sizes being large and eating big meals, we're talking about following the nutrition guidelines that we use and eating the right kind of foods. So
and they're different to the nutritional guidelines that you've probably heard about, and they're espoused by so-called experts and many other people. And the last one is ratio. So, and this is crucial, because this is where you kind of set yourself up for the real nutrition aspect of it. So what you need to do is work on a 70-30. So 70% vegetables and 30% protein. And you can have a lot of fun with different sauces and different things like that you can make yourself. And what that does is it gives you a good portion of protein, which the body needs. And it doesn't matter if you're a vegetarian or vegan or whatever protein you use, set it at 30% of your meal. And so the 70% is vegetables. And go crazy. You can have whatever you want. I personally prefer zucchini because it has so many different benefits to it. It's full of fiber. It's got a lot of nutrients in it, but most of all, it's filling. So you cut up 2 or 3 zucchini in your meal, and believe me, you'll be full afterwards. So, and I eat quite big meals, and so that's pretty much it. If you stick within that framework and concentrate on eating as natural as possible, get rid of as much of the processed stuff as you can. And I know it's going to be hard for a lot of people to do, but it's up to you. It's either your health or eating whatever it is that you're craving for at that time. So so that's pretty much it for now. Next video we'll be talking about how to train, and which again is going to be very different to what you've been told about training or exercise. And and for now, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to say.
No, so if you'd like to find out more about us and what we do, then you can drop a be free in the comments below or visit us at livewiseproject.com. So have a lovely evening, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.